Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning, we watched Samurai Jack!
Jack. Hey, should we ever get that? What was that chef that used to yell boom all the time? Should we ever get him on the show for a cameo?
Maybe he's on Cameo, and we can just hire him to say boom once, and then we can just reuse that every time.
But now I'm worried that it's Bam that he yells. And
it was Bam. Cartoon Bam! It's like, oh, man.
It'd be kind of funny, though, to get him on Cameo, saying Bam, and then we correct him. And we're like, no. It's Boom. It's Boom. What was his name? Emerald or something?
It was Emerald something.
Emerald something. That was his name. We'll look for him on Cameo. This was suggested to us by GeekdomAhoy and ChewbaccaRob via Instagram, and lots of others who didn't officially request it, but asked, why haven't you done Samurai Jack yet? And we even got like someone rated us low once because we haven't done it yet. And I was like, guys, come on, man. Like,
yeah, that's a little harsh.
You're going to take a rating away because we haven't done a specific episode yet? But now that we're doing it,
now that we've finally seen it, I understand everyone's apprehension because, man, we were missing out.
Wait, so are you saying you've never seen Samurai Jack before?
I might have caught an episode or two back when it was originally airing, but we would have been in high school at that point because it came out in 2001.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we would have been, sophomores?
Yes.
And I don't know. I just had like a bad sense of what was on and what was happening in the animation world, which surprised me because I watched a lot of Cartoon Network back then and Adult Swim too. Well, okay, that's a whole nother thing I'll talk about in a second because it kind of like switched between the two. But yeah, it surprised me that I had never really, I guess, dived into it.
I'm in the same boat, honestly.
Yeah?
I'm in that boat too, that little paper boat floating down the river that you're in. I'm in there too.
It's a sad boat. I want off.
Yeah, it's a sad boat, and it's made of paper, so it's wet and it's soggy. It's gonna fall apart.
We're sinking. We're sinking quick. We gotta get out.
We're sinking real fast. I can't help. I can't get out. I'm in there, and I feel ashamed. I feel I'm embarrassed now.
You know, I was gonna lie and say, "Oh no, I've seen this before," but just because I was so ashamed that I hadn't. So I'm with you.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times. Let's edit all that out. We've seen this. Oh, goodness. Yeah, of course we have.
Oh, man. We should have, though.
Yeah, we should have.
So the show, Samurai Jack, aired from 2001 to 2004. Then it was revived 12 years later for a darker, more mature fifth season that provided a conclusion to Jack's story, which ended in 2017. So it's 2001 to 2004.
Jeez.
And then 12 years later, 13 years later, in 2017 is when it actually ended.
That's crazy.
I know, it's so weird, but it was like fans kind of helped to bring it back. Like there was so much support behind it. Like it needs to have a proper ending, and we finally got it. Created by Genndy Tartakovsky, directed by Genndy Tartakovsky, Randy Myers, Robert Alvarez, Robert Renzetti, and Chris Savino. Produced by Cartoon Network Studios, Cartoon Network Productions for season 1 through 4, and then William Street for season 5. Ran for 5 seasons, 62 episodes, originally on Cartoon Network from 2001 to 2004, and then Adult Swim in 2017. So that way, it kind of got more allowance to be a little bit darker and, to grow up a bit with the 5th season since it got to move to Adult Swim. And for a short synopsis, a samurai sent through time fights to return home and save the world. That is a very basic synopsis, but accurate.
Yeah, it's accurate. And it is like, man, it's an epic story. Even before its like return and, maturity and stuff, it was still like, I mean, there's things about it that were, for kids and everything, but there's still some parts about it that were very much, I don't necessarily want to say grown up, but there's still parts of the story where the premise of it was still very much likable for adults. Like, it's still like an adult story, just told in an appropriate way for children to be able to watch.
And blended with some comedy too, so that it had some levity to it.
Yes,
which
definitely.
Surprisingly, the 5th season actually kept, and we get to see like this 5th season, at least episode we watched, kind of open with a comedic tone. So it's like, okay, it's good that that's still there, but then you see it drops into a really dark spot a little bit later on.
Oh my God,
we'll talk about that.
Takes some real dark turns.
Yeah.
Like quite a few of them. My goodness.
So who are some of the actors who played in this show?
Well, there's only a few that we really, really need to talk about. And by a few, I mean there's 3 that we're going to talk about, and that's it. And with that, only 2 characters that we're really going to talk about. So the first one is Samurai Jack himself. The Jack, that character. Samurai Jack was voiced by Phil Lamar. And aside from lots of television appearances, known very much for voicing tons and tons and tons of characters like Static from Static Shock, Jon Stewart, aka Green Lantern from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Osmosis Jones from Ozzy and Drix, Gambit and Wolverine and the X-Men, Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Hermes Conrad from Futurama, and so many more that we would be here for days if I decided to name any more than just that. But seriously, this guy's done so much with his career. If you've listened to a cartoon, you've heard this man's voice. He's amazing. And now I want to get into the only other character that I'm going to talk about as far as the casting. This is Aku. This is the main antagonist of the show. Now, Aku was originally voiced by Mako Iwamatsu, sometimes just only known by his first name, Mako. So Mako had a huge career in film and television, but his voice was also known as the narrator in Dexter's Laboratory, and probably most recognized as the most lovable character ever, the fascinating Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, until he passed away in 2006. So this is where I say that we're talking about 3 actors but 2 characters. Once Mako passed away, Greg Baldwin was the voice actor who stepped in, not only for Mako's character of Uncle Iroh in The Last Airbender, but also took on the role of Aku in Samurai Jack to finish out the rest of the series once it returned. So I guess he was so good at replacing that character voice in The Last Airbender that when they decided to bring Samurai Jack back to television, they brought in the same guy because he could match that voice so well. So I thought that was really cool that Greg Baldwin was able to voice not only 1 but 2 characters from that legendary voice actor Mako, which honestly, Mako's voice is so good. I love listening to his voice. It's so soothing. One of my favorite voices in all of animation. He also voiced Splinter in that TMNT movie from oh man, I don't remember when it came out. It like literally it was an animated movie.
It was that CG one, right?
Yeah. It was literally just called TMNT.
Right. Yeah, I remember that one.
It wasn't my favorite, but
it was fine.
But he's got a great voice for Splinter. I can say that much. So
yeah, like no one can replace Mako's voice because it's just it's fantastic. But Greg Baldwin does it justice. Like he does a great job
for sure.
So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Samurai Jack cereal, Aku is Japanese for evil.
That makes sense.
It's very direct. Jack's katana was given to his father by 3 gods, Ra, Rama, and Odin. That's probably something we learn later in the series or at some point, but we didn't hear any of that on episodes we watched, so I figured I'd point it out.
I like that a lot, because that brings in other gods from other cultures.
Right.
And I like that a lot because they definitely brought in a lot of other cultures in the show, as we see in the first episode. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's a very universal show. It's not just sticking to feudal Japan and their beliefs.
Which surprised me a lot. I didn't expect that. That's very cool.
The basic premise of Samurai Jack comes from Tartakovsky's childhood fascination with samurai culture and the Bushido Code. as well as a recurring dream where he wandered a post-apocalyptic Earth with a samurai sword and traveled the world fighting mutants with his crush. That sounds like a fantastic dream.
I would love to have that dream. Let's do that. Give me one of those.
The show is meant to evoke 1970s cinematography as well as classic Hollywood films such as Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia, and Spartacus. Thematic and visual inspirations come from Frank Miller's comic book series Ronin, including the premise to a masterless samurai warrior thrown into a dystopic future in order to battle a shape-shifting demon. That's pretty cool.
I can see all those influences, man. Like Lawrence of Arabia, this is going to sound weird, but one of my favorite films of all time. I used to be obsessed with that film. I used to watch it all the time, even though it's super, super long. But also Frank Miller's Ronin is amazing. And I mean, that influence is very easy to see, especially in some of like the very specifically cropped panels in this show. So yeah. Oh man. It's good.
I've never read Ronin, but that really makes me want to.
It's good, dude. You'll like it. I like it a lot.
Sweet. Jack's name was never revealed, and he got it from locals who were using it as a form of slang when he first got displaced into the future. People are just kind of calling him, hey, Jack, like, what's going on, Jack? Using their cultural slang from the future.
Okay.
I think someone had asked him his name later, and he just used that as a replacement for it. So we never actually learned what his real name is.
That's cool. I was wondering because no one said his name in the first episode.
Right. And finally, season 5, instead of being animated traditionally, was done using more digital programs, but keeping the same style of the series. And you can really tell because it's a lot cleaner. It is the same style.
Yes.
But it just feels a lot more polished, I guess, but only because it's using that same style, but digitally instead. And it actually makes it widescreen instead of a 3x4.
Yeah, it's more clean. Like you said, the widescreen, it adds more to it. It feels way more like it already feels like a much more cinematic cartoon than what you're probably used to with any animated show, aside from his other show, Primal. And you definitely feel that in this last season, and you'd probably I think you feel more detail, like the background. There's a little bit more detail and things like that they were probably able to do that they weren't before.
Mm-hmm.
Probably makes it a little bit more easier, but yeah, that's really cool.
And the intro changes in the 5th season too.
Yes, to account for the big gap in time, like explains it and.
Exactly. And
yeah,
in that same way, like the intro originally in the first 4 seasons, it's great. It's got that like, gotta get back to the past, Samurai Jack. Like it's got that beat to it. And then the 5th season, it's a lot darker. Even the intro where it's just sort of like a slow crawl of him kind of describing the situation, how he's been there for 50 years. And, he's still trying to do the same thing and pursue Aku, but he's been at it for so long. He's ageless. Time has stopped having any effect on him. So he hasn't aged a day. And he's just really kind of like melancholy about it at this point. As you could imagine, he would be pursuing him for so long to no avail. So it
sucks.
It really reflects that. And he does use that, like, got to get back to the past, Samurai Jack, at the very end of that intro, but not in a fun way, just in kind of a statement sort of way.
Yeah, it's more of a like almost like a mantra to keep him going sort of thing.
Exactly.
Not like a fun, upbeat, like
playful
song kind of thing anymore. Now it's like it sounds like it's saying it to keep him sane.
Which we see he's having a lot of trouble with at this point.
Big time.
So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we've watched for today's show. The very first episode, highest read episode, and finally, random listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically, but of course, we have to start with the very first episode, which was episode 1, the beginning, season 1, episode 1. So a lot of these, and especially toward the 5th season, they just start going by the number of the episode. So you're going to hear me say episode a lot. Be ready for that. When the ancient evil Aku returns to terrorize Japan, the Emperor's young son is sent to distant lands to train in the ways of the warrior. Only then can he wield his father's magical sword to stop Aku from taking over the world. Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
So we get the opening of sort of seeing that Jack's father had previously conquered Aku with that sword that we mentioned earlier, blessed by the gods, and entrapped him in the earth itself.
In the ground.
Yeah, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
And we get to kind of see him rise from like that dark eclipse, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what the details behind his...
Like how he came back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of confused as to what brought him back exactly. I'm not really sure. I kind of wonder if it explores that a little bit, if like what the reason is and how he came back.
I'm sure it does. It might have something to do with just the veil between wherever he was trapped and I guess our reality being thin because of the eclipse or something. That's the general description when demons rise or things like that.
You know, like you never trust an eclipse. Like weird things always happen during eclipses.
Right. We saw it during Howard Lovecraft. We saw it during this. Don't trust eclipses.
Heroes, that television show.
Never saw that, but I believe
stuff always went wonky during the eclipses.
Don't look at the eclipse, and also beware of demons.
Yeah, demons or superpowers are going to happen. One of the two. Or if you already had superpowers, you're going to lose them during the eclipse.
Oh, man.
So be really careful.
So Aku is the master of masters, the deliverer of darkness, and the shogun of sorrow are like titles we'll continue hearing throughout the series. And he is an evil shape-shifting demon wizard, I guess is the best way to describe him. He describes himself in all kinds of different ways, but that's the general description of his character. He's a strange...
I hope he has that on a business card.
Yeah.
And looks like he's made a shadow, which is pretty fun too. I also like that he's got flames for eyebrows.
Yeah,
That's
which
fun.
are removable, we find out later.
Yeah, he can remove them. You know, it's almost like he puts on fake eyelashes, which is great, but they're flames.
Yeah, but flame eyebrows.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
We see that Aku has risen again after the, previous warlord, or after the warlord, Jack's father, had trapped him. Now that he's re-risen, like the first thing he does is come back after Jack's father because that's the one who conquered him. And he like keeps him from obtaining his sword again, which was the only way he could have beaten him before, and then captures him, which makes Jack's father tell his mom basically, okay, like stick to the plan, get Jack out of here and take the sword with you. He has to go train. Like we've talked about this. We've planned all this in the event that Aku did escape.
So they do that. They grab the sword, they run. We get like montage of Jack growing up and traveling across the world, training with masters of all kinds of different cultures. And until he is old enough to come back home, reclaim that sword. He sees his mother once again. He is gifted the sword from his mother as an adult now. And then he goes to finally face down Aku, who he essentially kind of defeats. But before Aku can be killed, he sends Jack into the future. And basically like a future where I think essentially Aku's kind of already won.
Yeah, he sends him into the future that he's already taken over. It's a dystopian future ruled by Aku, who has also not invited, I guess he's brought like different demons, aliens from other planets in. Like he's further colonized the planet Earth with different life forms in order to benefit himself and help to like strip it of resources. I guess that's his general plan. The reason he sent Jack to the future was because he knew he wasn't powerful enough. He knew Aku wasn't powerful enough at the time to take him on, but he figured in the future he would become more powerful, so he'll just face him then because he couldn't directly kill him at that point.
Right.
So that's an interesting start to the series, an interesting concept to begin with.
Yeah, it really is. So we're going to leave it at that, and this is the end of the episode. No. What we decided to do is we're gonna just kind of go through the other two episodes a little bit like that. We're just gonna talk through the plot a little bit, and then we're gonna talk about what we liked and disliked at the end of all that kind of stuff. A little bit more overall instead of trying to break it down per episode, because I think that'll make it a little bit easier for us, and we might talk about some things that were very specific to those episodes. In fact, I know we will.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the stuff that we've talked about on the previous episodes go more overall than they do in those specific episodes. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's how we're gonna change it up a little bit, and we're not gonna try to shoehorn it as like you gotta like 3 things and dislike 3 things, which we've been trying to do. So yeah, let's talk about the next episode that we watched.
The next one we watched was episode XXX, which is episode 30, Jack and the Zombies. Jack and the Zombies, season 3, episode 4, which was my pick because it had zombies in it. I had to see what it had going on. Aku leads Samurai Jack towards a graveyard where the undead do the evil shapeshifters bidding. This episode was awesome. I loved it.
It was crazy.
I can describe it in a very basic way because first Aku's kind of watching over him, seeing where he's going to go. And then like he hits a fork in the road and Aku's like nervous, like, tries to make sure he takes the path to this graveyard. And in doing so has given Aku the power to raise all the dead in this graveyard to attack him. That's it. That's the episode is basically him just fighting his way through all these undead warriors who Aku has risen from the ground. And then at the end of, which was amazing in and of itself, but then at the end of all that, he has to face off with Aku, who really bested him, would have killed him right then and there. And I was wondering how he was even going to get out of it at the end.
Oh, yeah. Like Aku comes up. I didn't even expect that to happen. I didn't expect to see a battle between Jack and Aku in this random episode that, I mean, is just, it's like what, episode like 3 of this season, like
episode 4. Yeah,
it just felt so random to happen so close to the beginning of this random season to get a showdown like this. And you're right, it's like Aku would have won. He would have killed Jack. Jack didn't die because Jack got lucky, and that is a huge like eye-opening thing, to be honest. Is just like, wow, like that's how important this is. That's how desperate this fight was, is that like, yeah, he would have lost. The hero would have lost this. It all would have been lost. It's just that he got lucky because that sword can only be used for good, which means Aku couldn't kill Jack with it. So the fact that Aku chose to try to do the killing blow with Jack's own sword is the only reason that Jack made it out.
Exactly. Like he could have used anything else. He could have shapeshifted into that scorpion form he often takes and just used the spine instead of the sword. But nope, he had to try to best him with the weapon that he was bested with. And in that, he kind of like screwed himself over. It was nerve-wracking to watch, not knowing what was going to happen, because I'm like, well, how's he going to get out? Like, he's literally like about to stab him. He can't possibly escape this. I don't know if it's ever even mentioned before. I don't think so, because Jack didn't even know that this was how the sword worked. But yeah, it can't be used by evil against someone with a pure heart.
Yeah.
He tried, like he was like poking him with it, but it kept like deflecting off
like
of his chest.
Poking.
Yeah.
It's like ding, ding, ding. That confusion alone was enough to get Aku to back off, because then Aku needed to kind of rethink his game plan and get out of there, because Jack got a second wind there. But yeah, Aku had him dead to rights. Jack would have lost. And I think that was a really big eye-opening moment, if not for that character, because we didn't watch, anything directly after that. But for me and you as an audience member, it was just like, wow, this is way more desperate of a situation than I definitely thought it was. My God.
So we all thought, even Jack thought he was going to die. Moving on to the next episode, which was episode XCIII.
No, wait.
Yeah, episode 93.
Dang.
And I'll explain that in a second. Season 5, episode 2. So it just goes by the title, episode 93. And the reason for this is season 4 ended with episode 52, but because of the time jump, it goes from episode 52 to opening season 5 with episode 92, I believe. The reason for that is the 40-year difference between like when the season 4 ended and when season 5 started, the 40-year difference in Jack's time. So that's why it opened in such like a, God, I've been at this for 50 years thing, because I guess 10 years pass in the between season 1 and 4, and then another 40 years pass between 4 and 5. So that's why it goes from episode 52 to 92 to start off that season.
No, geez.
Yeah, exactly. It's confusing a little bit, but episode 93
hurts my brain.
Episode 93 is the one we watched, which season 5, episode 2. Out of weapons and pursued relentlessly by the masterful 7 daughters of Aku, Jack faces what may be his final confrontation. That seems like that's a common thing in Jack's world. Is like this might be my final confrontation.
Yeah. That's every episode is his final confrontation.
This one's a lot more like a stealth mission in that Jack is really hiding and sneaking around most of the time. He starts out like fully armored, loaded with all these weapons, like different guns and artillery he's picked up across the places he's visited and his journeys. And so he's loaded with all these weapons. You think like, okay, he's fine.
He's fine.
But then once the 7 daughters start attacking him, they take out all of that so quickly and invisibly that he doesn't even like see it coming. Like he can't defend himself against their onslaught.
Yeah, man, they're scary, dude. Like the daughters of Aku are frightening as heck because they're so fast. They're so much deadlier and better at fighting than he is. Like he's outmatched super easily. I mean, even just fighting one of them on his own, he barely can keep up with her.
And we should also know at this point that he doesn't even have his sword anymore. Like he's lost it somewhere along the way.
Yeah, that sword's gone, man. He doesn't have a way to kill Aku, and he doesn't have a way home anymore because I guess maybe there was multiple time portals at one time. And there's a line at some point that says all of those time portals have been either destroyed or closed or something. So it's like he can't kill Aku and there's no way for him to ever go home. If I'm thinking about this right, and I'm trying to picture it, is even if he defeats Aku here in the future, Aku's already won. Like he can't now he can't go back in the past and defeat Aku. So like everything Aku's done, like it's too late. You know, like it's over.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know how the actual, series ends. Maybe he does find a way to get back to the past. But at this point, he really has to face off with current Aku because he cannot go back due to those time portals being closed.
Yeah, like to Jack's current knowledge in this episode, Aku is basically won. And Jack's just surviving at this point. Like, Jack's lost.
He's lost, and he's pretty much lost it because he has that kind of showdown with his inner thoughts.
Yeah.
Which was really
trying to convince him to kill himself.
Yeah, really depressing.
Which is crazy.
It really opens up that darkness that this season introduces.
Yeah.
It's strange considering this episode opened with Aku, like, talking to himself as a psychiatrist, like sitting down in the little couch and everything. And just
poor Aku's so depressed.
He's depressed because Jack won't die. Like he expected to outlast him. Like he expected Jack to just age and then just die off because none of his warriors could finish him off. But now that he's found out it's been 50 years and he hasn't aged a bit because of something that happened, something that was disrupted when he pushed him forward through time. Now he's just like, oh, what do I do? Like he needs to die. He just won't die. And so he's talking to a psychiatrist version of himself about it. And so it opens comedically, but then moves on to that scene with Jack. I guess that's the heavy levity we needed to move on to that scene.
Well, I like that though, because that reminds me of that eternal struggle of like, just drawing it to like comics of like that eternal conflict between like, Batman and Joker of like both needing each other kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like neither can ever rest, and like, if one's gone, the other one doesn't have purpose anymore. So, it's kind of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But neither of them can be happy either at the same time because they're always at conflict. So it's a lose-lose situation forever for both of them. So it's interesting.
Neither can defeat the other, and especially Jack at this point, without the sword, without the time portals, like hope just seems lost, especially to him. Aku, now realizing he can't outlast Jack, has to formulate a way to actually kill him off, even though he's failed for the past 50 years to do so.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a heavy episode.
That's when the 7 daughters of Aku are sent after him, who are essentially like highly trained assassins.
Which Jack says are robots.
He thinks at this point that they're robots because that's all he's killed in the past, to his knowledge, is like robots or undead beings.
Yeah.
He hasn't taken anyone's life. He's forced into this like kind of Mayan-esque temple, and is really just, at first, just goes into hiding and tries to just get away from them. He's not, after seeing himself being bested by them so quickly earlier on, he doesn't think he can take them on head to head. So he just like finds a place to hide in the temple and tries to outlast them. And then they do the same. They can't find him when they go in there. So they all go into their separate hiding places. And we're seeing all this play out too, which is really interesting to watch all their minds kind of working and strategizing to try to defeat one another. And then like eventually Jack has to confront them as he comes out because like he doesn't know where they're hiding and he's just slowly running across each of them. Like as he starts to like run off, there's this like large open area with all these graves in it. And that's where he kind of goes into hiding. And then that's really where most of the episode takes place. I guess the bulk of it's right there is him hiding and trying not to be discovered, but it gets really tense right there, leading to him eventually facing off against one of them and ultimately finding out that they are in fact human, which sends him down a whole nother, like, what have I done? Having to deal with that on top of everything else he's already dealt with for the past 50 years. Now he has unintentionally taken a life and he's having to deal with his, I guess, personal thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, and the way he finds out is because in the heat of the battle, he like slices her throat open.
Thinking it's a robot.
Yeah, thinking it's a robot. And then when she falls to the ground, her mask cracks in half and he sees it's a woman. I'm like, oh my God. Yikes.
Yeah.
And then he's super injured. Like, dude is barely alive and he falls into a river because he got stabbed in the gut and he's bleeding everywhere. So,
and the way that episode closes out is with him kind of floating down that river, bleeding out.
Yeah.
So it's like, geez, this is season 5.
Yikes.
So now that we've talked about those episodes briefly, some a little bit more than others, let's talk about what we liked and what we disliked about this show. I don't know where you want to start because I know for me personally, my dislikes are very brief. So maybe we want to do those first and then dive into the likes.
Yeah, let's get into the dislikes. And I only really have one, and that's it. My only dislike had to do also with why I didn't watch this when it first came out, which is that I didn't like Aku at first because I just thought that Aku looked so silly and over that being over like scary or sinister or anything. And I didn't really understand the kind of villain that they were trying to go for. And I'd catch an episode here or there and I didn't get it. I really didn't. And even in the first episode, I was really enjoying it. And I enjoyed the story and everything, but I still didn't quite understand Aku. I mean, once he started doing all the shape shifting and stuff, he started feeling a lot more creepy to me. And I'm like, okay, like now I'm starting to sort of see it. He's kind of creepy and stuff. It's almost like in that first episode, I didn't understand if they were going for serious or funny or a mix of the two. It's kind of like I didn't feel that balance yet. By the time we watched that second episode, I got it. This is where I felt like I really understood what kind of character Aku is supposed to be. And I felt like I really get it. And then I really started to enjoy it. Like I really liked his facial expressions and the over the topness started cracking me up, especially in the beginning of that second episode where we watched where he's just like watching Jack try to decide what path he wants to take and how he really wants Jack to go down a specific one. And so he just like influences that little stick that Jack throws on the ground to go one way.
Yeah.
And then Jack just subtly is just like, shrugs and goes that way. And Aku celebrates like so loud, just like, yeah, that cracked me up. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. But like before I really took the time to get to understand this show, I just wasn't on board with it. And now I'm 100% in with that character. And I think he's great.
So that was kind of a dislike that evolved into a like once you understood it more.
Yeah, it's just like it took me a while to get it. And now I feel like I do.
I can understand that because even as like the primary antagonist, the big bad of this show, it's very strange because he's a very unusual one given how serious the tone of this show is at times, where he, generally speaking, is just sort of goofy character, but he can also be very terrifying. So he's two sides of a very strange coin, and I appreciate him as a villain now, like you said, as I know more about him, and especially as we saw more of him.
Yeah, it was kind of like I couldn't understand the tone of the show because of him. at first because it felt like he didn't match the tone of the show. And that's what I couldn't wrap my head around. But I feel like now I get it. And I think part of it is that he's not supposed to.
He's almost displaced in the tonality of the show. He is a tone all of his own.
You rhymed, but yes, you are correct.
So for my dislike, mine is stupid. Mine is like, I think you'll agree with it, but it's very small. The use of papyrus font during the credits, all the way from season 1 through 4, just was very unappealing. And at the time, maybe it was okay to use papyrus. Maybe everything wasn't using it at that time.
It's never okay to use papyrus.
Well, we say that now, but is that because
it's terrible?
Is that because it was oversaturated by the time we got up to this point?
No, it just always sucks. Like it just looks bad. Don't ever use papyrus.
Because I'm also thinking of like Firefly Serenity uses papyrus in the title.
Yeah, and I hate it.
There was a point in time where so many things were using it. And this unfortunately fell victim to it. But also, in season 5, luckily, they moved on and away from that. But up until that point, it was hard watching those credits.
Yeah, it's like, guys, if you want to sell a product or a show or anything, do not use a font that comes installed on Windows. Don't. Unless it is like a basic like Helvetica or Arial that you can tweak for your purposes, don't. Don't do it.
Like they might as well have just used wingdings. Like that would have been equally disruptive.
Yeah.
That was my dislike though, just because at this point in time, it's universally disliked, I think, at least because it was so overused. And that's all I could really pull out as a dislike. I like so much about this show. So let's jump into those. What'd you like?
Oh, dude, so much. One of the things that we talked about a little bit earlier is that the world feels really big in this show because, I mean, they pull in culture from everywhere. And I like that. That makes this story feel so much richer. I mean, you mentioned that in that the sword was given to the father by deities that belong to various cultures. But in that first episode, he travels all over the place, different places. Like he learns horseback riding in the Middle East, spear combat in Africa, wrestling in Greece, archery in Europe, axe throwing in Russia. And I love that kind of stuff. It just made the story feel huge. And that's only some of the different places we see. But the idea that this is mostly thought of as like a samurai story, but it's acknowledging all of these other cultures and parts of this world, of this time, that very much impressed me and just made me think right off the bat in episode 1 that no, this is going to be a much bigger story than I ever gave it credit for. So that was a quick way to inform me that I was very wrong about any preconceptions that I had. I really like that a lot. And it showed me too that there's going to be a lot of lore and a lot of story to this, and getting into all the background about how Aku was defeated long ago. And then there's the idea of that he came back and how did he come back? And there's just so much stuff that I feel like there's available to dive into, that the richness of this overall story and series is just so big. I want to dive into it and learn more, and I love that. Visually, it's stunning. I mean, I kind of said before with like that it feels really cinematic, the way that they did things, but there's other stuff that they do that I really love too. Like anytime there is a red background, it looks amazing, especially if it has to do with Aku or his henchmen. But that red background where it's like you can still see detailed things in the background. So I'm not saying it's just blanket like a red color, but you might see, just for the sake of example, villages drawn and people in the background and things like that. But it's all the color red, and then you have let's say Aku looming over you in the foreground, and he is just all black with his his face is all its colors, but that makes him really pop and gives it such a sinister feel, especially with that foreboding music behind it. And they use that music really well too. It feels so cinematic. It's like a living, breathing thing. It feels like an experience. It's not just a normal cartoon. Like it's very interesting because it's so different than everything else that was on Cartoon Network at the time. And it's weird because this was lumped in with so many other shows that I almost feel like almost do it a disservice that this would be like I don't want to sound really snooty. I mean, because it kind of sounds that way. But the idea of you watch something like this, and then if the next show that comes on is something like Ed, Ed and Eddie, which I love Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Like I highly regard that show because it's fantastic. But they are 100% in different categories and different.
Yeah, that's like comparing apples to Jawbreakers. Like it's such a strange thing to have back to back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it feels weird that a show like this was paired with things like that, but it was. So I think that's super, super strange. It's just a completely different palette in a way. So I don't know. It like to me, it's like sitting down to watch something like WandaVision, which is something current and is really complex and things like that. And then immediately sitting down to watch like a Nickelback music video or something.
Oh,
It's like, wait, what? Why would we do this? That doesn't make sense, but I don't know. And then also like the combat is amazing. It's insane. It's beautifully drawn. The combat is so complex and so long, and that's something that we know that Genndy does really well from talking about Primal. But what I also like and appreciate is they don't pull any punches. Like we see Jack take a sword and shred through some of these enemies. Like Aku's henchmen are largely these like shadow kind of demon guys, and we see him just rip right through these dudes and they drift away in smoke, but it feels so good to see it. And they can get away with doing that because it's not blood. Or in the episode with the graveyard, all the zombies and stuff like that, yeah, he's just blowing right through them, and again they'll go away in a puff of smoke and bones and things like that. And those animations were fantastic. Like those designs, all the off whites and grays and browns, but then those bright blue eyes, man, those looked good.
Oh yeah, those zombies were awesome.
And the battle between Aku and Jack was so beautifully animated and so brutally violent that it felt like you felt desperate. Like I think you even said that you felt really like on edge the whole time watching it go down, and I did too, because like you really did feel like Jack was just gonna get destroyed at any point. Like it didn't feel like he was gonna make it out of that fight at all.
With the knowledge we had up to that point, and probably like anybody had up to that point, because we didn't know about the sword specific rules, Jack didn't have a way out. There was no foreseeable way he could have escaped that.
Yeah, not at all. But yeah, I could keep going on and on and on, but I mean, for all those things, like this felt like, I compare it to Primal, but I can see that, I mean, Primal takes so much from this because, where Primal kind of is one of those shows that is everything kind of, it's like all of his skills were refined doing this show. Then Genndy took that and made Primal, which is almost like a magnum opus kind of thing of here is everything that I learned on Samurai Jack. Here is it on display, to put in a museum or whatever, but it's like everything is owed back to this right here, and you can see it at every turn.
Yeah, that actually transitions well into my likes, because my first one is how driven by visuals and sound this show was, with very little dialogue in most cases. And that is like a direct transition over to Primal, where there literally is no dialogue because it's a caveman and a T-Rex fighting together. You can see that transition and how he did pick up so much from this show, and just effectively showing how you kind of toil in those quiet moments with the characters, or you get pumped when the music picks up because you're like, oh man, something's about to go down. And that's when those fights start, which is another one of my big likes. I completely agree with you there, where especially that zombie fight we saw, it's just like him slashing through this horde of undead warriors. And it felt like a video game in a way, like video games I played where it's just like chaining combos off of each other and then just like flawless or seamlessly like going from enemy to enemy. And then like I was saying earlier about the Daughters of Aku fight, it's like a stealth mission where he's just in there and he's just in hiding and just praying, hoping that they do not find him because he feels defenseless against them, having previously seen their skills.
That was so intense.
Yes.
Like that one had me on edge more than anything. Like my heart was beating so fast in that scene.
And when he was in that tomb, the only thing lighting it was that firefly while he's just waiting not to be discovered. And they're slowly looking around, trying to sense him, I guess, or hear him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they eventually do. When they all strike at once and he barely escapes that alive, it's like, geez, like this is like the climactic moment we'd been fearing was coming. So the fight scenes, just perfect. Just wow is all I can say about those. And then I just appreciate that Jack was at times unsure of himself, of his chances. There were times where he looked scared or where he would yell out in pain. So he wasn't this like fearless, overconfident hero, which just made him feel more authentic as a hero. Yeah, it just felt more weighty, I guess, that he wasn't some like grand hero who just like, came back against all odds or like turned Super Saiyan and was able to best the enemy. It's like, no, he was just a normal dude who happened to have a powerful sword, not even all the time at the end of it. And then he's overcoming these odds, sometimes just by pure luck, like we said.
Yeah, exactly.
After 50 years of pursuing Aku in the 5th season, it's like, who wouldn't be shaken by all that he's seen? So yeah, he's going to lose confidence. And it makes sense that he's kind of facing his inner demons at that point and, contemplating suicide because he doesn't see an end to this.
Oh, man. So good.
So good. Well, Chris, looks like it's about time to send our inner kids to the future to see if they can help defeat the evil shapeshifter Aku and maybe toss us a few sets of winning lotto numbers. Then see what they thought of the show, Samurai Jack.
At first, I didn't really like this show because it seemed like it would be kind of silly, but it's so cool. There's so much fighting and ninja action and swords and cool robot but not really robot ninja girl assassins, and Aku turns out to be really funny, which I hope I can be once I become an evil demon when I grow up and take over the world too.
A show about a time-traveling samurai warrior hunting down a shape-shifting demon wizard? So good! Plus, there were zombies and assassins and talking dogs. What's not to love? That last episode, though, yeesh, it got a little heavy, and we got to witness the emotional toll of being on a mission for 50 plus years with nothing to show for it. Kind of like with how long you guys have been low-tier podcasting. But I still really dug this show and can't wait to watch Jack honorably kick more demon butt.
Ouch. That one hurt a little bit.
That kind of stung.
That stung. But man, I do want to kick myself for never watching this show more as a kid, but I feel like I'm going to have so much more appreciation and catch so many more subtle things going through this as an adult, because that's something I want to do. I do want to watch this all the way through. This world is just so vast and interesting. Jack is such a great protagonist, and the storytelling again is just top notch thanks to Genndy Tartakovsky's skills as a creator. So I'm absolutely here for it. So the show, the comics, the games, all of it. So I rated Samurai Jack 5 bowls of smoked demon cereal out of 5.
I completely agree with you. Like, this is one that I definitely want to dive into. And it's a world that I'm, even after watching just like episodes here and there, you can see like, man, there's so much to this world that I don't know about, but I want to know. That combined with, like you said, the comics and board games, even, and more video games, there's so much to it that I'm blind to. Even though I knew it was around, I just didn't give it the chance that I should have. But now that I have, that's all I want to consume is just everything Samurai Jack. So I gave it 5 big bowls of Back to the Past cereal out of 5. Please, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's on HBO Max, actually. That's how I was watching it.
I do have a 5-star review and comment on Apple Podcasts to read out. This is from, oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. This is from Fugdejfugdejfugahas. They say, amazing. I love this podcast. This is amazing. Well,
all right.
That feels a little spammy.
Well, thank you. I don't know if I should bleep your name or not, but
I mean, we'll take it. I don't know that Apple's pretty good at getting spam out of there. Like, I've never really seen a spam one come through or one that looked like spam.
Well, it was 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, feel free to spam us with 5 stars. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I'm just guessing maybe they just wanted to fill out a review but didn't really want to put in their name. So they're just like, whatever.
All right.
But anyway, whoever you are, thank you for the review. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. But also thank you to GeekdomAhoy and ChewbaccaRob and everyone else who suggested this and, been angry at us for not reviewing it yet.
Yeah, sorry.
This was awesome, an amazing experience, and I can't wait to experience more of it.
Oh, yeah. I'm super excited. Especially there's so many comics, man. I see them advertised all the time on the app that I read all my comics on. So I'm excited to get into those eventually. Once I get through 100 bullets, I'm like barely even... I don't think I'm even halfway through that series. I got a while to go.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, we'll be watching...
Pick a number, Joseph, between 50 and 300.
200... No, you know what? I'm going to follow Samurai Jack and go 93.
Ah, The Devil is a Part-Timer. Submitted by Tommy and Buff McDragonslayer.
That's an awesome name. I love that. Buff McDragonslayer.
Yeah, I love it. Man, I'm excited for this because so Tommy is a friend of ours. I wish I could say Buff McDragonslayer was a friend of ours because that is a great name. Tommy is a friend of ours, and Tommy has been hoping that we do this one for a while. And I have seen this advertised so many times, and I'm very interested in it. And I've been hoping we would get to it, and just hoping that we would get to some anime again in general, because we've hardly had any anime for like over 2 years, I feel like. So we're finally going to get something. So thank you.
Right on. Yeah, I've never heard of this,
excitement.
But excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm not. And I'm Chris.
We'll see you in 2 Saturdays.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.